planning a night out? A guide to a smooth dining experience. Patricia is making a reservation at an Italian restaurant.
Hello, is this Mario's restaurant?
Yes, it is. How may I help you?
I'd like to book a table for 2 next Friday evening.
Certainly. May I have your name?
It's Patricia Brown. Would it be possible to reserve a table by the window at 7:30 p.m.?
Yes, we do have a table available at that time.
Wonderful. How long are we allowed to dine?
We typically allocate 90 minutes for dinner, but you are welcome to stay longer if the restaurant isn't fully booked.
Perfect. Is there a minimum spending amount?
Yes, there is a minimum amount of $500 per person.
I see. Do you offer parking for guests?
Yes, we have free parking located behind the restaurant.
Excellent. One last question. Do you require a deposit?
No deposit is required. We just kindly ask that you confirm or cancel a day in advance.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. We look forward to seeing you.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Tiffany.
Chickling. By the way, I saw that you went to a really cool restaurant last weekend.
Yeah.
The food looked so yummy and the views looked amazing.
Yes, it's a new restaurant in town. We should totally go together.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll book it. When's a good day for you?
Would it be possible to reserve a table by the window at 6:30 p.m. or on Friday?
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Of course, that works for me.
Are there any dishes you recommend?
Oh, their pasta is to die for. We can order that.
I'm so excited.
Me too. All right, so our article for today is all about going to a restaurant and how or what kind of English you can use when you go to a restaurant, maybe overseas. We have a conversation today, and here we see our scenario. It says Patricia is making a reservation at an Italian restaurant. Patricia calls and she says, "Hello, is this Mario's restaurant?"
OK， 所以 Patricia 是我们今天的主角哦，她打电话到这个意大利餐厅预订座位，她就说 ：“Hello， 请问是 Mario's Restaurants 吗？就是这个餐厅的名字。”
Not Super Mario, by the way, but it could just be another Mario. Here the waiter says, "Yes, it is. How may I help you?"
通常 How may I help you 就是你到餐厅他们会问你的话，或你到一个店里面他们会问你有没有什么需要可以为你服务的 How may I help you?
Patricia then says, "I'd like to book a table for 2 next Friday evening."
So usually if you want to make a reservation, we say I would like to make a reservation for, 然后你后面加多少个人，或者这边 book a table for 2就是2个人的意思。所以 Patricia 就说我想要订呢下周五晚上2个人的座位哦。
Yeah. Next, the waiter then says, "Certainly. May I have your name?" Okay, this is quite important because the restaurants also don't want you to book things for other people or make mistakes, so they usually ask for your name and telephone number. Patricia then says, "It's Patricia Brown. Would it be possible to reserve a table by the window at 7:30 p.m.?" It must be the views are really nice.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at our first word, reserve. Reserve is a verb and it means to ask for a seat, table, room, etc. to be available for you or somebody else at a future time. So like we mentioned, most of the time when you go to restaurants, you need to reserve and ask to save seats in advance. If you don't make a reservation and just show up, we call that a walk-in. Okay, so most of the time restaurants also allow you to walk in and they save like a number of tables for the walk-ins. For example, you can also reserve seats on an HSR or on trains as well. Here we can use reserve in a sentence like this. This restaurant is super popular during New Year's Eve, so make sure you reserve some seats a few months before.
所以 reserve 就是预定的意思，它是个动词哦，那或保留都可以。那么它的名词就是 reservation。我们可以造一个句子，我们用这个 reserve 来造一个句子。We need to reserve a table at the restaurant for tonight。或者是说什么东西已经被预定了，我们都可以说什么东西 is under reservation。比如说 The hotel room is currently under reservation and not available for others。 所以我们常常会讲的就是，can I reserve a table for 2 or for 4 at 7 p.m.？ 或者是说呢 ，Do you need to reserve？ 我们刚刚有讲到保留 reserve this item in advance， 事先留下这个商品哦。所以通常一到餐厅，他们就会，请问你是谁啊？你要定位，那他就说，我是 Patricia Brown， 那我想要靠窗的位置哦。这个 a table by the window 就是靠窗的位置，而且是晚上7点半。
All right, so let's continue taking a look at our reservation and how it's going. The waiter says, yes, we do have a table available at that time. Very lucky. Must be like a nice restaurant because I know usually nice restaurants, they don't have such good seats around that time. So she's very lucky to be able to book that time on a Friday night.
Right. 所以呢，服务生就说，我们刚好那个时间有空的座位哦。
Yeah. Patricia then says, wonderful. How long are we allowed to dine? Okay, so here dine is used as a verb and it means to eat dinner or to eat a meal. So for example, we can say, this is a great spot to dine and watch the sunset, my favorite.
Yeah, right. 所以这个 dine 就是吃正餐，它是比较正式的用法，比起 eat 这个字。所以我们常常说dining 它就是用餐这件事，所以我们家里吃饭那个地方叫做 dining room。那我们也可以直接说 they prefer to dine at fine restaurants during their travels， 或者是说你喜欢在家吃饭，那就是 dine in。那如果你在外面吃饭，就是 dine out。比如说 we decided to dine out instead of cooking at home。所以呢 Patricia 就说太好了，那因为用餐时间有时候 they have like a time limit for like how long you can stay in the restaurant， 所以他就说可以用餐多久呢？
Yeah, exactly. Do you prefer to dine in or dine out?
Actually dine in. I prefer to dine in.
Yeah.
It's just so much relaxing for me.
Yeah, and I think you make a lot of great food at home as well.
Yeah, it's healthier.
Yes. But sometimes it is nice to go out to dine out and to have a nice meal. Okay, so next the waiter then says, we typically allocate 90 minutes for dinner, but you are welcome to stay longer if the restaurant isn't fully booked. Let's take a look at our word typically. Typically is an adverb and it's used to say that something usually happens. For students, what happens every day is you wake up, go to school, come home, do your homework, and then get ready for the next day. It just means that that's your normal day and that's normally what happens to you. We can use typically in a sentence like this. Jerry typically takes the bus to work, but he's running late, so he grabbed a taxi instead.
所以 typically 就是一般啊，或者是通常的意思哦。你常常做的事情，我们都可以用这个字。比如说 he typically goes for a run in the morning before work。所以我们常常会说他的什么东西是典型的，我们就会说谁是 typical of， 或者是什么东西。这个 typical 就是它的形容词嘛。比如说 this behavior is typical of how he handles stress。意思是说他常常他处理压力的方式就是差不多是这个样子的感觉。那我们看一些比较常见的用法哦。What do you typically do on weekends？ 代表你通常在周末都会做什么，或者是说it's typically hot in this region during the summer， 代表是一个常态。所以服务生就说晚餐时段我们通常就是只有90分钟，但如果没有客满的话，其实他们是不介意的。
All right, so a while ago, the restaurant mentioned that they usually allocate 90 minutes for you to dine there. So allocate just means to give something officially to somebody or something for a particular purpose, okay? So it could be something like a time, or it can even be like a task, like maybe your boss might allocate a specific task for you. In this case, we saw that it's the restaurant gives you 90 minutes as a time to dine, and it's typically so they can let other guests come and enjoy too.
Allocate 是比较正式的字，它是分派给谁哦。那我们刚刚就说 allocate something for something or someone， 就是把什么东西分配给他们的意思。
Yeah, but the restaurant says you're welcome to stay longer if it's free for you to do so. So to be welcome to or be verb welcome to do something, it's used to say that you're happy for someone to do something if they want to.
所以 be welcome to do something 就是说你可以允许被做这件事，或者是说可以随意做某 重的事，通常是指不是很被看重的事情哦。
Yeah, exactly. So like for example, if you have a friend over, you can say you are welcome or feel free or be welcome to feel at home at my place. Okay. Next, Patricia then says, perfect. Is there a minimum spending amount? Okay, that's a great question because a minimum is the least amount of something, and some restaurants have a minimum spend. Like for example, if you go to a cafe, you can't just sit in the cafe and drink free water, right? You need to order something. You would probably need to order a drink or spend a minimum amount of money to be in the restaurant and to use the restaurant or the cafe.
对，所以这边出现的 minimum 就是最少的、最低的。那么 Patricia 就说太完美了，那你们有最低的有低消吗？就像在台湾大家讲的低消的意思。
Next, the waiter then says, yes, there is a minimum amount of $500 per person, okay? And then Patricia says, I see. Do you offer parking for guests?
所以他们就说，有低消是500元的台币。Patricia 就说 OK， 那么餐厅有提供客用车位吗？这边出现的 offer 就是提供的意思。
All right, so you see there's already a minimum spending amount. Maybe usually if it's 500, it's probably one main dish. Everybody has to order a main dish or main course. The waiter then says, yes, we have free parking located behind the restaurant, okay? Here we see the word locate. It's a verb and it means when you locate somebody or something, it means you want to find the exact position of that person or that thing. In the article, it also means where something is or to put or build something in a particular place. For example, we can say the new stadium will be located near the train station to attract more visitors.
Locate 就是使什么东西坐落于在哪地方，我们常常会用一个 be 动词叫 located， 就是说位于哪里。那这边出现的什么 which is located behind 代表是位于这个餐厅的后面嘛。我们也可以说 their office is located in the heart of the city， 或者是它的名词就是 location。比如说 the app can help you find the location of the nearest gas station。那我们常见的就是说，什么东西在哪里？我们可以讲 Where is this store located？ 这个店是在哪里呢？那么服务生他们就有说，有啊，我们餐厅后面是有免费停车场。So basically, you go down there. If you drive, you don't even have to worry about parking.
Yeah, exactly. I love those.
Yeah.
You don't have to like go 30 minutes earlier
Exactly.
to find a parking spot. Patricia then says, excellent. One last question. Do you require a deposit? So let's take a look at the word require. Require is a verb and it means to need something or to depend on somebody or something. For example, plants. Plants require sunshine and water in order to grow. We can also use require in a sentence like this. Access to the hotel gym and swimming pool are only for guests, so it requires a room key.
那么 require 就是需要，它是动词，名词就是 requirement， 它有必要条件，什么东西的需求。我们可以用一个动词造一个句子，像是一个工作，你去找工作，你会需要这个特定的事情。The position requires a strong background in marketing， 或者是说谁被需要做什么呢？被要求。比如说 all passengers are required to wear seat belts during the flight。那么看几个比较常见的句子。Do you require any assistance with this？ 就代表说你有需要我的帮助吗？或者是说 What documents are required for the application？
We also saw Patricia ask if a deposit is required. Deposit here is a noun and it means a sum of money that is given as a part of a larger payment. Deposits are usually put on to make sure that you come to the place at restaurants or you make a purchase there. So you make a purchase of whatever you're buying. So it could be a bag, it could be anything else. For example, when you rent an apartment, usually the landlord will ask you for 2 months deposit in advance. It's just a way for the landlord to guarantee that you are going to rent the apartment and to make sure that you don't cause any damage to it. But we can use deposit in a sentence like this. In order to rent the venue, Isabel had to put down a deposit.
所以 deposit 在这边是押金或定金的意思哦。那我们就说要付押金，就可以说 pay a deposit。比如说 you need to pay a deposit to secure your reservation。有时候你订一个东西，他们要确保你不会去取消嘛。 所以如果你要存款或支付押金，我们也可以说的 make a deposit。比如说 he made a deposit to his savings account this morning， 就他存款进去的意思。好，那我们看几个比较常见，像刚刚 Tiffany 老师有讲到，我们去租房子的时候，通常2个月的那个押金就是这一个字哦。How much is the deposit for the apartment？ 或者是说呢 ，I'd like to deposit， 这边的 deposit 是当动词哦，代表你要存款 some cash into my account。所以 Patricia 就说太好了，所以你们有需要支付定金吗
？Next, the waiter then says, no deposit is required. We just kindly ask that you confirm or cancel a day in advance. What a nice restaurant. Most of the time now, a lot of restaurants will ask for a deposit.
Right.
But the restaurant here is asking you to call in advance. Now, when something is in advance, it just means ahead of time. And usually it's just, a way of to have manners and a bit of common courtesy because it's very, very rude to cancel at the last minute. Especially if a large group of people, like if you have 4 to 6 or 8 people, it's really rude if you just cancel at the last minute. So yeah, it means that the restaurant could also lose a big chance of making money and then they have to rearrange all the tables again. But if you don't call in advance and you just don't show up, that's called a no-show. It's when someone makes a reservation and doesn't show up, they didn't even call in advance to cancel. That's really bad.
I know, right? 所以这个 in advance 就是事先。所以服务生就说是不需要定金的，可是你要提前1天跟我们说你有没有要取消或者是确定，因为如果你当下都直接不出现，其实对餐厅来说是蛮大的损失。
Yeah, and it's really, really, really rude as well. Next, Patricia says, no problem. Thank you very much. And the waiter says, thank you, Miss Brown. We look forward to seeing you. Okay, when you look forward to something, it just means to be excited to do something.
Right, so when we use this phrase, 我们都会用那个 be-ing 的动词在后面哦。I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to getting your reply. I look forward to meeting you in person. 所以后面的动词要变 ing 哦，那可以放一个名词也可以。所以喜欢今天的主题吗？如果喜欢的话，不要忘记给我们点赞、订阅、分享我们的 YouTube 频道跟 Facebook 哦。
Yay! All right, so that means it's the end of today's article, and then we have our For You chat question. What is our For You chat question for today?
So what do you think is important to ask when making a reservation?
Okay, I think if you have any special diet preferences, like if you can't eat gluten, you can't eat beef, or no raw food, it's important to ask if the restaurant is able to make adjustments for you. Like, I think it's better to know beforehand instead of showing up and then being angry about it or feeling disappointed and then complaining and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
Oh, because I drive, so I usually make sure to ask about important details, like do they have parking options, or are there any parking spaces nearby? Just to avoid surprises when you actually get there. You get very frustrated, and I have a short temper, especially when it comes to driving, not being able to find a parking space. So I think that's really important. And also you can check with them, do they have any cancellation policy, just in case your plans change. That's what I usually do.
Oh yeah, true. Just in case, maybe they have you need to cancel last minute. You've already paid the deposit.
True.
You want to make sure that you can also just cancel in advance, right? Yeah, or else your deposit will be taken. You might feel kind of not happy. Also, I think if you're planning to celebrate maybe a special occasion like a birthday or an anniversary, I think it's also nice to let the restaurant know. Maybe they can help you set up a sweet surprise, and your whole dining experience will be even better, and then it'll be a night or a day to remember. So so remember, not every restaurant does this automatically for you, so you definitely have to communicate and tell them beforehand instead of expecting it. Expecting that things are given to you like that. So I think communication is important. All right, so what do you guys think? What's important before you make a reservation at a restaurant? You can talk about it with us or leave your comments, and then we will take a look at that. But that's it for today. We still have more to talk about in day 2, so don't forget to stay tuned. But that's all for today, and that's all for now. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Vocabulary Review. Reserve. Mary reserved a room for us at the hotel for Thursday night, so we'll stay there. Dine. Sheena prefers to dine by herself and takes her time to fully enjoy the meal. Typically. I typically arrive at the company at around 8:30 a.m., but today I was early. Locate. Locate. It's easy for me to get to work because my office is located very close to an MRT station. Require. Taking care of a plant requires watering it regularly and providing the right amount of sunlight. Deposit. When Daniel moved out of his apartment, the owner gave back his entire deposit of 10,000 NT dollars.
智慧小补帖
Allocate. Minimum.